The Wright brothers, Spider-Man, and a bunch of other plain stuff are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is December 17th, 2021. It is the 351st day of the year. 14 days left in this fine year. You know, after 2020, I didn't think they could get much worse. This one wasn't as bad as 2020, but it was freaking close. So 2022 gives us a little more sunshine or whatever. It is the 51st Friday in the 51st week and the 87th day of fall. What do we got? We got 4 days left until winter. If today's your birthday, your birthstone is a turquoise or a blue topaz. Your choice. Today is Wright Brothers Day. By presidential proclamation, December 17th is Wright Brothers Day. Orville and Wilbur Wright made the first successful flight on December 17th, 1903 near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. The actual place is really called Kill Devil Hill. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Kitty Hawk's right down the road, but they decided Kill Devil Hill was a little too morbid to be celebrated, so yeah, they went with Kitty Hawk. Kitty Hawk at the time was the nearest settlement, and it's actually like 6 miles north of Kill Devil Hill. All right, let's see what else December 17th has given us. 1777, the American Revolution. France formally recognizes the United States. You know, back then we may not have been much of a country, but France hated England so much at the time, I'm sure they were just thrilled to give us the big thumbs up. 1892, the first issue of Vogue is published. Yeah, the fashion magazine Vogue. It's been around a long time. Magazines are one of those weird things that the digital age has kind of killed off, and I think Vogue is one of the handful left that are still sort of going strong. I mean, they got digital editions now and all that, but the old days of, licking your thumb to turn the page of a magazine are kind of coming to an end, I think. Did you know 10 men have graced the cover of Vogue? That's it. In 128 years or so, only 10 men. Richard Gere, George Clooney, LeBron James, Ryan Lochte or whatever his name, the swimmer, Kanye West, Ben Stiller, Ashton Eaton, Zayn Malik, who's an actor, I guess, Justin Bieber, and Harry Styles. Only 10 men in all those years. 1896, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Shenley Park Casino, which was amazing for the time. This was the first multi-purpose arena that actually could make an artificial ice surface in North America, and it was destroyed in a fire, sadly. 1935, the first flight of the Douglas DC-3. This was a very important cargo plane, and during World War II, they had different variations of it, but the C-47 Skytrain is what a majority of the troops jumped out of on D-Day. 1943, all Chinese are again permitted to become citizens of the United States upon the repeal of the Act of 1882 and the introduction of the Magnus Act. 1950, in Korea, the F-86 Sabre has its first mission. 1957, the United States successfully launches the first Atlas intercontinental ballistic missile at Cape Canaveral, Florida. Like I said, there's a lot of airplane stuff today and rockets and stuff. Even another one, here we go, sort of. 1969, Project Blue Book. The United States Air Force closes its study on UFOs. They never really closed it. They just closed that project. 2014, the United States and Cuba reestablished diplomatic relationships after severing them in 1961. I think they've been severed again because I haven't heard anything about talking to Cuba in forever. Movies released on December 17th today. Spider-Man No Way From Home with Tom Holland. He's by far my favorite Spider-Man. And that's our deep dive. Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a superhero created by writer and editor Stan Lee and writer-artist Steve Ditko way back in the 1960s, early 1960s. His first appearance in the comic book Amazing Fantasies number 15, which came out in August of 1962, in what they consider the Silver Age of comic books. At the time, back then, you had your Supermans, you had your Wonder Woman, and all these perfect superheroes. Stan Lee wanted to grab part of the teen audience. Kids were growing out of comic books. By the time they were 12, 13, 14, they were moving on to other things, and he wanted to get some of their attention back. So he thought, why not have a teenage superhero with all the problems a teenager would have? He's adopted, he's got girl problems, he's got bully problems, all that stuff, and he's a superhero. When Stan Lee created Spider-Man, there was little argument. They wanted to call him Spider-Boy, but that Stan Lee said would make him inferior to other superheroes, so they just thought they'd go with Spider-Man, kind of play off the whole Superman thing. Well, Stan Lee takes this character, Spider-Man, finally, when they work it all out. They weren't going to give Spider-Man his own comic book, but they had a magazine at the time called Amazing Fantasy that was on its 15th issue, and it was going to be its final issue. They were going to cancel it. So they thought, we'll just put him on the final edition of this Amazing Fantasy magazine. There's a couple different versions of this story, but what it breaks down to is Spider-Man was supposed to be a one and done comic. That was it. But then a couple months after they published this magazine, the publisher was looking over sales figures and realized that Spider-Man was Marvel's highest selling comic book. And here we are in 2021 with another epic movie about Spider-Man. It's just kind of strange that this might have ended if they didn't have great sales figures. I've always been a huge Spider-Man fan. Not really Spider-Man as much as I loved his villains as a kid. I love them. I can't wait to see this movie. Born on December 17th, 1986, Emma Bell. She's an American actress best known for her reoccurring role as Amy in the AMC series The Walking Dead. She's also had roles in Frozen and Final Destination 5. Died on December 17th, 2018, Penny Marshall. Everyone knows Penny Marshall. She was Laverne DeFazio from Laverne and Shirley. She went on to be a great director. She did Awakenings with Robert De Niro and Robin Williams, A League of Their Own, Big with Tom Hanks. With Big, she became the first female director to film a movie that grossed over $100 million. Big was a great movie. She was married once before in 1961, got a divorce, and she married Rob Reiner, who played Meathead on All in the Family. That was in 1971. They divorced in 1981. They have a daughter named Tracy Reiner, who became an actress. If you don't know who she is, she was in A League of Their Own. She played Betty Spaghetti. Actually, the character's name was Betty Horn, but in there they called her Betty Spaghetti. Penny Marshall was 75 when she died, and her cause of death was cardiopulmonary failure. She had cardiovascular disease. She had diabetes. That's too bad. She was a great director and actress, I guess. You get a second person who died today. 2020, we lost Jeremy Bulloch. You probably don't know who he is. He's an actor that is best known for playing Boba Fett in the original Star Wars trilogy, beginning with Star Wars Return of the Jedi. He also played Smithers in the 1983 James Bond film Octopussy. Bulloch died of complications from Parkinson's disease, which he had suffered for many years with. He died in Tooting, London on this day. He was also 75 years old, like Penny Marshall. Alright, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, and be nice to each other.